Hello, it's Andy. I'm back in the workshop, and today I've been continuing with that project I started what feels like a very long time ago, and that was to make myself an English longbow. Now, from the very outset it became clear that I wasn't going to get an English longbow in the traditional sense. I was going to be producing a longbow of my interpretation, or wherever that wood and the bow led me. I almost lost it, as I said. That was quite frustrating, and even though there's no money involved in this at the moment, the problem that I have with it is sometimes time is worth more than money. Now, I've invested a lot of time in this and a lot of emotion. It's brought me to the point of sheer frustration and almost, wanting to give up. But I've come back in to the workshop to start removing more wood from those limbs. The reason for that is, on my last video, I thought I'd got the bow ready to tiller. But after doing some more research, I realised those limbs were just too stiff, and there wasn't any hope that they were going to tiller properly. And indeed, the draw weight was registering £65 by the method that I was trying to calculate it. But in all essence, the limbs just did not flex and move as they should do for the bow I had in question. So I'm back in, I've done more research, and I realised that my actual shape was part of the problem as well. So I've now come back in here, and I have spent some time taking wood off, and I'll show you what I've done, and then I'll bring you along and I'll show you a little bit more what I'm doing to that bow. So here it is, and the problem I had was with the actual belly. Now, this came out to probably about here, and it was rounded like the back. So indeed it wasn't flexing, and I realised I had to put a flat belly to counteract the mechanism of it being kind of rounded on the back. There are many types of bow designs and configurations, but primarily for what I'm trying to do with this piece of wood, that did come to the fore as part of the problem. Now, as you can see, it has a little bit of curve already in this piece of hazel, this stave, which I managed to incorporate into the actual design. Now, I believe I've got it down to sort of like the dimensions I can now start to tiller. It is far from perfect, and I look at it and I can already, as an inexperienced bowyer just getting this far, I can see what I should have done and what I need to do next time. And more importantly, I can see where already I'm going to have issues on that tiller. But I'm just going to have a little bit more of a clean up. What I was using, and I'll show you, is this small rasp. And what I did was basically, as I come along here, I was just running it along the flat plane to create a flat plane and basically take off like what I've got on the back, that rounded hump, if you should say. So I was able to plane it down, and I've taken off a fair bit of wood there now compared to what was on there, and I'm happy. And then I used a knife, which is a fixed blade one, because I don't have a dedicated draw knife, and I used that because it has a flat edge, and I was able to draw that along in a manner like this to clean up all the marks that was left by the rasp. And it's given me something I can now put on the tiller. I'm not going to finish it because I've still got wood that I will have to take off while I'm tillering. So it's just basically cleaning up the rough marks that I'm doing at the moment and making sure there's no points where this could start to split from. If you leave too big a gouge marks, as it flexes, that can actually cause splits or tears in the wood itself, in the fibres. So you need to clean it up to a standard where, while it's flexing and under its mechanics of working, that those don't become weak points in themselves. So you need to sand it back to a reasonable point where those, should we say, imperfections don't become a weak point while you're tillering. So I'm going to continue that. So as I've said, that's no longer going to be used. I took the majority of the wood off with that one. I use this knife to draw along the flat to give me that flatness on the belly. I'm now down to very coarse sandpaper and a very fine file just to work the worst bits out. And between these two, I will get this actually to the point I can now put a string on it and see how it's beginning to flex again. So I've just filed out the worst of it and now I'm just cleaning it up. Like I said, this isn't a finishing sand or nothing like this. I'm just trying to avoid any imperfections becoming weak spots while I tiller, like I said. Wood is a material that it kind of deserves a bit of respect. Now, I make hiking sticks, and when I straighten them, quite often they do fail on the areas that have imperfections before you even start making the hiking stick. So I'm just using that logic here, and because a bow, the whole of the fibres within that, the bow itself are going to be moving and flexing, it's going to put a lot of pressure, particularly on the outside fibres within that wood. So yeah, I'm pretty much happy with this, and I think what I'm going to do now is just put a string. I don't have a proper string. I will be using some very small paracord just to get me started with this. I could go and get some actual bowstring, but I'm not prepared to wait. I just want to crack on now and see where this actually starts to take me. Well, I strung the bow, put it on the tiller as well, what I'm using as a tiller, which is what I did on the first occasion, and I gave it a few pulls and it was looking okay. I got to about 30 pounds and I thought those limbs aren't looking too bad actually, so I thought I'd bring it up to more, and I got to about 50 and I heard an almighty crack. Yes, it has snapped. It's in a preconceived area that it would snap right before a knot, and it split right back from the knot in the shape of the knot. So that was obviously a predetermined weak area. Knots don't always mean the wood will snap there, but for me it has meant it has snapped. So it is the end of the story for this particular English longbow. I do have 3 other staves and I will continue with this project, but obviously I need to get back to this point before I can go forward again. It is gut-wrenching. It's something I was warned that could happen. It's something that I was told, you're going to experience at some point, whether it be a first bow, second, third, fourth, fifth or sixth bow. It's happened, I am gutted. I've lost a lot of time in that, and there's been a lot of sweat gone into it. I'll let you have a look. I'll let you make your own minds up, but it still doesn't distract from the fact I'm a little bit, shall I say, heartbroken. But I'm going to get the other staves out. They've been drying this amount of time, and I've got the process to go right the way through till I get to this point. Obviously I won't do another series taking you through to this point, but when I get to this point I shall show you where I'm going from there, but I'll let you have a look. So there you can see the damage, and you can see it split pretty much in a nice semicircle around a knotted area there, if you can see that. I'll see if I can get out of the shadow. But yeah, it's gone there. I am totally gutted. But it's right on that knot. That's a slightly better view there for you guys. Now, as you can see, it's actually broke in a clear circle right away around what was the knot there. And it's following the pattern of the knot in underneath the wood as well. So, in retrospect, this was always going to be a weak spot for this bow. If it didn't go for me now while I was tillering, and I wasn't actually really tillering, I was just trying to work the wood before I started the tillering and to see what the actual bow looked like on the tiller, and then I was going to let you guys have a look. But it didn't make it that far, and this is basically firewood now, and firewood that's cost me a lot of time. Gutted, but there you go. I'll start again. Yeah, just let you guys have another little look, like you say. So, you know, you pick yourself up, you move on, and you go forward again. Really gutted. I can't explain it, to be honest with you. It feels really sickening when I realise I spent possibly the best part of, if I'm being honest, probably 16 hours on this already to get to this point. But it's happened. I'm going to have to move on. Yeah, hid away down there and amongst a load of stuff, which I'm not going to dig out now. You can see I've got 3 staves there. I should sort through those, get another one out, get to the point where I am now, and then bring you along and show you the tillering process then. Right then, I will dig those other staves out, and I will get to this particular point again with one of those staves, and then I'll go through the tillering process with you guys. Yeah, I'm gutted, and it would have actually been nice if I'd have caught that on camera, but all I was actually trying to do was just put a bit of load on the limbs just to get my first glimpses before bringing the camera in on the action, so to speak. But no, it didn't get that far. I've already said I'm gutted, so I'm going to wrap this up, and yeah, I've got a good few hours more shaping another bow. So yeah, all the best. This is Andy from Folklore Hiking Sticks.